Hi there, my name's Eric Chang, and I'm the branch manager here at MoveDowntownColumbus.com. If you're looking for an opportunity to make a lot of money while working from home, then we've got the job for you. We are a real estate brokerage and we're based out of Columbus, Ohio. You can see where our office is right here. It's our only office, but we do want to expand to other cities. Now that's a picture of the outside of our office. We were established in 2010 and we specialize in downtown properties. We do work all over Columbus, but most of our business, I'd have to say about 80% of our business, is buying, selling, and renting out downtown properties. Customer service is our #1 priority, and we do get a lot of referrals. However, we have a marketing system that we call the front-end marketing system, and this is where you would come in. This is our web page right here, and if you're familiar with real estate websites like Realtor.com or Zillow or Trulia, it's just like that. A buyer is going to type in their information of what they're looking for, and when they start to drill down into the details, we're going to ask them to create an account. And this is where we actually get the lead. So our opportunity for you is that we are a super small company and we're growing by leaps and bounds. We do plan to expand into other cities. We've been developing a process that is quite complicated and long. However, once we finish with that process, we can duplicate it in other cities. So there's an opportunity to move up, and we can copy this process, as I said, and we can go wherever the urban areas are in the United States. There's been a trend recently with millennials all moving back into urban areas and downtown areas experiencing revival in a lot of these different cities. Now's a really good time to take advantage of that trend. Benefits with us? Well, #1, you can work your own hours, you can work from home, and you're going to get paid for every single call regardless of outcome. What most real estate teams do, they will pay their inside sales agents an hourly rate plus a commission when the deal closes. When we've done this before, we've noticed that we've had a lot of turnover. So what we're doing instead is we're going to pay for every single call of the person that you talk to, regardless of whether they say yes or no. And I'll get to some details about that here in a few slides. First of all, who we're looking for. We do need people that have an incredible work ethic, people that have strong phone skills. You've got to be a self-starter because you'll be working on your own. And real estate knowledge is a plus, but it's not required. We do extensive training on that too. Now here's what you absolutely do have to have. You've got to have your own computer. You'll be calling leads from our computer, especially if you're out of state. You'll be signing on the back end of our website. You'll be calling leads from there. We do also have a log, so you should report your daily progress in terms of how many people you talk to and how many calls you made, that kind of thing. And lastly, because we're paying for every single phone call, you do have to set up a recording device. So the reason for that though is, #1, if we are paying for every single phone call, we need verification, because you could easily just say you made 1,000 phone calls and we'd have no way of verifying that. So the first thing is we do have to verify for your compensation that you actually made the calls. #2 is compliance issues. Most of you that are applying for this position aren't going to be licensed in Ohio as a real estate agent. Therefore, there's certain things you can and can't say, and we want to make sure that everyone is in compliance. So we're recording the calls to make sure that you're not saying anything you shouldn't be saying. And lastly is the training. Most real estate agents that run a team and have a similar setup to ours will hold training maybe once a week, where they'll get everyone in a room and they'll do a lot of role play and they'll go over troubleshooting, where the inside sales agents can ask questions and talk about the problems that they're running into. But the biggest problem with that is sometimes there are little nuances in the phone call that the inside sales agent doesn't communicate that could have a big effect on whether that prospect comes in for an appointment or not. We have been able to eliminate a lot of the learning curve really fast by being able to listen to phone calls right away. It's been very, very valuable for training. We have a 3-tiered compensation plan, and here's how this works. The first tier is that we will pay per phone call regardless of outcome. Now, we won't pay for wrong numbers or no answers. I think that's reasonable. But if you ask for that person and they identify themselves as being the person that we're calling, then you'll get paid regardless of what they say. Whether they say, no, I'm not interested, I'm already working with a realtor, call me back next week. No matter what they say, as long as it is the correct number and it is someone actually answering live, then we're going to pay for that. We also pay per appointment set that shows up. It's really easy to get people to say yes to an appointment. In fact, you can probably get 3 to 5 people out of 10 saying yes to an appointment, but it's an entirely different thing to get them to show up. We have extensive training on getting them to show up. It's also not something where you just set an appointment and you expect to forget about them. It does take follow-up. Sometimes they do reschedule. Sometimes it takes 2, 3, 8, 9, 10 phone calls to get them to show up. Constant bugging, but that is just the nature of our business, and it has to do with being persistent. If you want to get them to show up, that's what you need to do. And then we pay out on a per deal basis that closes. So here's how our compensation works. For every call that's made that is the correct person that you talk to, we'll pay $1 per phone call. And then we pay a $20 per appointment set that shows up. And 2 out of 3 people should show up if you follow the methods in our training and you're doing the proper follow-ups with our prospects that say yes, and you're constantly getting on them, stating the benefits, and touching them 7, 8, 9 times or whatever that takes, then you'll get 66% of people showing up. If it's less than that, then there's something wrong with the way you're booking the appointment. What's great about the phone call recordings is that we'll be able to hear exactly what's going on, and we'll be able to immediately know whether someone will or won't show up. And then thirdly, the prospect must be financially qualified. So some of the prospects that you talk to want to work with us. They want to come in for an appointment. They're motivated. They don't need any kind of bugging to get them to show up. However, they can't afford to buy a house. And the whole purpose of this inside sales position is to find us qualified prospects with buyers that want to buy a house. So they must be financially qualified in order for the compensation to kick in. We actually will ask financially qualifying questions, and if it looks like that person has shoddy credit and can't afford anything or doesn't have any money or whatever, then we will go ahead and set them up with our lender for counseling and follow up with them in 6 to 10 months, but we won't meet with them. Now, we do get paid on volume, and our average sales price is $242,000, and our commission is a percentage of the sales price. So it takes the same amount of hours, if not more, to work with someone that's of a lower sales price than it is to work with someone that's a higher sales price. For example, if we do work with someone that is a $240,000 sale, that's a $7,000 commission, and we put in the same amount of hours and we get a $3,500 commission if we're working with someone at $120,000. So we do pay less for those. We don't try and concentrate on those types of people. It's really not worth our time. However, we do have new buyer agents that come in all the time, and we would rather have them work with the lower priced buyers, so we will take those. It's just that because we get paid less, we'll compensate less on that. And then finally, a 2.5% commission when the property closes. So as I said, our average price range is $242,000. And if you were to take that, that'd be about $7,000. But what I like to do is I like to round down and be as conservative as possible. So I just rounded down to $200,000. And our commission is an average of 3%. So that's a $6,000 commission. And if you take 2.5% of that, that's $150. This is your later commission here. The $150 is going to be anywhere between 30 days to 2 years, because when a buyer comes in, they're not going to immediately buy a house next week. Some of them may be in their beginning stages, and they may be 5 months down the road, 6 months down the road, 7 months down the road. On average, they're usually about 5 to 6 months down the road. So the idea is to get your pipeline full and then have this nice bonus coming in on a consistent basis when we start closing these deals. So is failure an option? Well, I'm going to be really honest. It looks really good with what we're paying. However, 95% of the people that try this job, they just plain quit. And 95% of the reason why people quit is within your control entirely. So here's what I've noticed. A lot of people try and most people quit. And the main reason they quit is they don't have the self-discipline to work by themselves and stick to their plan. If you're the type of person that has to have a boss supervising you every day, where you go in at 8 o'clock, and if you're late, you get yelled at. If you're continuously late, you get fired, and you work till 5, then this job isn't for you. If you can't put in at least 7 to 10 hours a week and actually work those hours, then this job isn't for you. That is the main reason why people quit. When they decide that they're gonna set their schedule for the week, and they're going to work, let's say Monday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and someone calls them up and says, let's go get a drink, they'll go do that instead. So you have to treat this job just like you would treat your normal job. Realize that if you're not on the phone booking appointments, you're not gonna make money and it's not gonna be successful for you. Now, there is a small percentage, they just don't have the ability to talk to people. There are people out there, it's not within their personality. The way that I wrote the job description filters most of those people out. However, there may be some of you, a small percentage, that do want to try this, but you're an introvert and you don't have the ability to talk to other people, and that could be a reason for failure. And then the other 5% is people just can't follow instructions. We've been doing this for years, and we belong to a group called National Association of Expert Advisors. This is a group of top real estate agents that make millions of dollars a year in commissions, and they have the same setup as us. We use the same scripts. We get together a couple times a year in Texas. We trade ideas of what works and what doesn't. They have inside sales agents and they have their real estate buyer agents, and they themselves all use the same script and make calls, which means hundreds of thousands of calls have been made using the same system that we're using, and they're very successful at it. It's important to follow our directions and follow proper instructions. If you can't do that, then you're not going to be successful, because there is a learning curve. So let's take a look at this. Is this cold calling or telemarketing? Now, this is how I define cold calling. Number one, you start with a massive list. And when you get into the real estate business, the reason that real estate agents fail, 80% of real estate agents fail in their first year and just quit the business, is because they have to prospect. They don't realize that it's not about showing houses, it's about getting business coming in. When I got in, I've done this, and if you go to work for a major brokerage like Coldwell Banker, this is before the do not call list, they give you the white pages and they say, here, start calling. And you start calling down the white pages, you start calling everyone you can. So that's cold calling to me. After you can finally get someone on the line, you ask them to buy something, and then you get hung up on, and the success rate is 1% or less, okay? So that's how I define cold calling or telemarketing. But here's how our system is set up. Number one, our leads are warm. You've seen people that sign up to our website. It's a home search site. They're not gonna sign up if they're not looking to purchase a home. Now, of course, there will be some people out there that are time wasters, or that have signed up to see what their neighbor's house sold for, or maybe they're thinking about putting their house on the market, so they want to see what's going on. There are those, but in all likelihood, someone's not going to sign up to our site if they're not serious about buying a home. Number two, we're not selling anything. So I'm not selling a magazine subscription, asking them for money. I'm not asking for donations for a charity. okay? I'm not ADT trying to sell a security system, getting an appointment that way. We're not selling anything. Our service is free and it's necessary to all home buyers. The point of the call is to make an appointment to meet with us so that we can explain to a home buyer how the business works. They need to at least be educated. And then after we educate them, if they decide they don't want to work with us, that's not a problem. But 90% of the time after we educate them, they appreciate all the benefits we offer and they sign up with us. Now here's the thing though, this is where your skill comes in over the phone and how we train. They're gonna think you're a telemarketer, so we need to explain it in a way that buyers will understand, okay? So we've got a script for that. It works pretty well, and we just need to get past that initial resistance. We're not telemarketers. Here's the absolute minimums. This is how it turns out when you first start out. You get 2 out of 10 people saying yes to an appointment. Now this is 2 out of 10 people you actually talk to that identify themselves as themselves, and these are the absolute minimums. I have listened to sales trainers that are really, really good, and they can get 7, 8, 9 out of 10 people they talk to come in for an appointment. 4 out of 10 people, there'll be follow-up calls. Some people sign up and they'll say, I'm not ready to buy anything yet. Call me back in 3 months. Call me back in 6 months. Call me back in a year. They're follow-up calls. Sometimes it takes 7, 8 follow-up calls to talk to someone before they'll come in. But you are getting paid for every single one of those follow-up calls, $1 a call, so you might as well make them. And a lot of times there are sales statistics out there that it takes 7 to 10 touches to finally get an appointment with someone. So that's very common. And then 4 out of 10, they'll say, I'm already working with a realtor, I already bought something, I was just looking. 4 out of 10 people won't turn into appointments. So when you got 6 out of 10 people at some point, either now or in the future, turning into appointments, that's a 60% success rate. That's pretty good for quote unquote telemarketing / cold calling. Remember, these are warm leads and that's why the success rate is so high. But I don't want you to get started if you're not 110% committed to this from the beginning. We pay $2,000 a month for our website. We pay $10 per lead. I spend a lot of time training. Because I know the dropout rate is so high, I don't want to waste our leads. So if you don't think that you can actually sit at the phone and make those calls, then you're not going to be successful. Don't even bother getting started. What this means is you do have to be willing to invest time up front. That means you need to learn the script and the objections. You have to memorize the script and the objections. In the beginning, it's very important that that script be memorized, those objections be memorized. Understand there's a learning curve. Results don't come right away. It may take a while for you to start getting the hang of it. You don't just get on the phone and become instantly successful. There's a book that Malcolm Gladwell wrote called Outliers. And in the book, he explains or studies people that are extremely successful at what they do. He calls them outliers. Outliers is a statistical term that means way above the mean or the average. In fact, they're so outside the average that statisticians just discard them and don't count them. So he wanted to know what makes these people so great at what they do. And these are real outliers like Bill Gates or the Beatles. And he realized when he was going into their life and studying their history, all they did was spend every single moment of spare time that they had doing what they're doing. With Bill Gates, it was coding. Every single free moment that he had in high school was spent in the computer lab learning all about coding. That's all he was doing was coding, becoming a master at coding. The same thing with the Beatles. When they first started, all they did every single day was play out live 4 to 6 hours a day, every single day, and becoming masters at their craft. And so when he was studying these people, realizing these people are outliers because they're masters at their craft, well, how long does that take? He determined that it takes about 10,000 hours to be good at anything. That's 3 hours a day for 10 years straight. Now, it doesn't take 10,000 hours to become a master inside sales agent, but I did want to make a point that there is a learning curve. You got to understand that you got to constantly improve, constantly learn, and you may not get instant results. And therefore, you want to attend training at least once a week. That's really important. We spend a lot of time training. The better you guys get and the faster you get, the better it is for everyone. And finally, you just have to sit at the phone for 1 to 3 hours at a time actually making the calls, not being on the internet, reading the news, watching TV, having the phone in front of you, just staring at it. You have to actually talk to people. On the flip side, let's take some statistics of a recent brand new inside sales agent of the first 9 hours and 10 minutes that he worked. He spoke to 45 people in those 9 hours and 10 minutes. That equals $45. He set 11 appointments. If we take the 66% of people that show, that's 7.26 people that will show. And when you take into account the $20 per, that's $145.20. And if you take appointments that close, 90% of the people that show up for the appointments will actually close. 10%, some of them won't sign an agreement with us. Some of them, their plans change. Some of them, there's situations that happen right in the middle of the transaction where they lose their job, just stuff happens. So we don't get 100% of those people that show, but we do get 90%. That's 6.53 people close, which equals $980.10. Okay, so what does that turn into? That's a total of $1,170. And if you want to take your short-term per hour income, what I'm counting for that is the income that you get for your appointment set and the dollar per call. That's $20.90 an hour. And if you take your long-term per hour income, it's $107.70 an hour. So the total income there is $128.60 an hour. That's what this guy is going to be making when these deals start closing. Let's take a look at some other careers in comparison. I went ahead and looked up the top median salaries in the United States. Number one is doctor. They make about $180,000 a year, and that turns into $86.53 an hour. However, this is based on a 40-hour work week. This $86, it's not accurate. It's going to be less than that because they work about 55 to 60 hours a week. The second is an attorney. Their salary on average is $144,000 a year. Again, based on 40 hours a week, but I don't know of any attorney that only works 40 hours a week. Next is research and development manager at $142,000, $68 an hour, and software development manager. These are managers, by the way, not people that just get into software development and research and development. These are people that have worked their way up into management positions. So their salary is about $132,000 median salary. Let's just take a look. To make that kind of salary, what do you have to put into it? Well, for a physician, the average 4-year tuition for undergraduate is $95,572. About $23,000 a year for tuition for undergrad. If you go to a state school, it's going to be a little bit less than that, but I'm basing these on out-of-state tuitions, public schools, out-of-state. If you're out-of-state, you have to pay. Medical school on average is about $200,000, another 4 years. And then the time that you invest, 4 years in undergrad, 4 years in medical, 1 year internship, 2-year residency. Now finally you're a real doctor and making that kind of money. So 8, 9, 10, 11 years invested and over, well, let's just say $300,000 upfront fee, not upfront, but you pay as you go. But that is the investment to become a physician. With an attorney, we got the same amount, and of course these amounts will vary, but law school is $102,000, so we're at about $200,000 as the investment. 4 years undergrad and 3 years law school, 7 years of your life in school. Research and development manager, again, $95,000. They also want you to have a master's degree, most of these companies that are paying that kind of salary. So that's another $41,000, so you got about $130,000. 4 years of undergrad, 2 years of master. They say you need at least 1 year of business experience after graduating. That's 4, 6, 7 years of your life there to become a research and development manager. And finally, for software development, we've got 4 years undergrad, similar costs, 4 years undergrad, 2 years master, 2 to 3 years of experience after graduating of working for an actual company before you get into a management position to earn that kind of salary. So we got, again, about $133,000 invested up front and 4, 6, 8 to 9 years of your life. So we're looking at 7 to 9 years of your life to make that kind of money in terms of learning and experience, and anywhere between $130,000 to $300,000 investment in the education. Let's take a look at an inside sales agent with MoveDowntownColumbus.com. Degrees required, 0. Upfront investment for the recording device, anywhere between $10 and $150. Years of experience. Well, you're going to spend about 6 to 10 hours of initial training and 10 to 20 hours of talking to people before you start to really get good at it. So let's say 30 hours total before you start to make $128.60. That's not a bad deal when you consider these other professions. Where else can you make this? Without a high school, college, master's, PhD, or medical degree, and without years of experience in a special trade craft or professional job. However, if making money was easy, everybody would be doing it. And most people don't like to talk to people they don't know, and most people don't like to be rejected. Even though this isn't cold calling, there is still a little bit of that involved. That is why we're paying the amount of money that we're paying. That is why we're compensating for this. They even said somewhere that they listed fears and asked people to rank them. And the number one fear was public speaking. It ranked over death. So people would rather die than have to speak in front of a bunch of people they don't know. All right, what are the next steps? How dedicated are you? If you want to give this a go, then you have to download the training materials. I'm going to send you a link to my Dropbox account. There's seminar videos, there's audio files that you have to listen to. I also give you the script. You have to memorize the script. If you want to get started right away, really the script, it's not that big of a deal. The script is literally 2 pages to memorize. Here's the first page, and here's the second page, and that's it. These are questions that you don't have to memorize. You can just read off the page. You'll need about 6 to 10 hours to memorize the script and watch the videos, and then do some role play training. And if you want to get started right away, you can. You don't have to have a week to memorize it. Some people want to get started right away. And then you have to set up the recording device. Here's how this works. If you're an Android user, that's good news for you. There are apps available for $10 on the Android store. They're very easy to set up and get going. You also will want to have a headset too, because you want your hands free so you can type notes into the computer. That's anywhere between 10 and 20, maybe you can get a good one for $20 on Amazon. If you have an iPhone, we looked into this quite extensively and have tested all sorts of different things. There are apps in the App Store that record calls. However, they're not going to work for the system we have set up, and with those apps you have to pay per minute of recorded call. It's kind of ridiculous. Apple has this super closed system. They make it very restrictive and very difficult. We've tried hardware, software, everything. Nothing really works well with the iPhone. So the solution is get an Android phone. If you got a landline, then you have a USB personal logger device, which is about $83. Okay, so if you're an iPhone user, there's a website that I love. It's called dealnews.com. And every single day you can even sign yourself up for email alerts. They will have deals in just about every single thing. I spent way too much money on this site. They scour the web every day. They've got their bots out there hunting for the best deals. And if you go to electronics, Android phones, they have all sorts of phones here, okay? Anywhere between, 50 to 300 as far as an unlocked phone. Nothing in here right now as of this moment that I'm doing the recording, but you can see in the screenshot at the time, you could have gotten one for as little as $45, an unlocked Android phone. Now here's the deal. You don't have to get a new line. You don't have to pay for like an extra line or switch carriers or anything like that. What you need to do is you need to get a SIM card adapter, and you can switch out the SIM card from your iPhone to your Android phone when you make the calls, so you can record your calls and then switch the SIM card back to your Apple iPhone when you want to make the personal calls. One of the things that you want to be aware of is that cell phone carriers have two different types of signals that they use. One is called CDMA and the other is called GSM. From what I've seen in deal news on the unlocked phones, when you buy an unlocked phone, that means you can use it with any carrier. I've only seen GSM enabled unlocked phones. I've never seen a CDMA. I believe, and you'll have to look it up, and I have it in a different video, that T-Mobile and AT&T are GSM. You'd be in luck if you were using those carriers. Verizon and Sprint are CDMA. If you've got Verizon or Sprint, you probably can't buy an unlocked phone unless it's an unlocked CDMA phone. You're just gonna have to pay attention to that type, and I can go into more details if you're interested. The SIM card adapter costs about $7 on Amazon.com. You can see that they're as cheap as $6, $7, $8 for a SIM card adapter on Amazon. So very cheap. If you've got a landline, I also have a landline and a mobile, so I have the USB personal logger, and that varies anywhere between 80 to, you want to get the USB, to 75. It goes up and down a few dollars here and there. As you can see, they lowered their price to 75. At the time I had this, it was 84, so $10 it got lowered. As far as compensation goes, we pay as a 1099 position. This is a subcontract position where you work from home and make your own hours. And we pay every 2 weeks on Fridays, bi-weekly. Our bank is Chase, and we use something called Chase Quick Pay. Any bank that's on the Clear Exchange Network, if you've got a bigger bank, they're probably on the Clear Exchange Network. So I'll go into that in a little bit in the next slide. We'll have that. And pay period lags 1 week behind. So here is a calendar, and if April 1st is a payday, then you've got the pay period from the 2nd through the 14th, 2nd through the 15th. The pay period for the calls generated, appointments that have shown up, and deals that have closed within this pay period will then be paid out on the 23rd. Does that make sense? So the pay period, not 23rd, sorry, I'm looking at the calendar wrong, 22nd. The pay period will be paid out on the 22nd if it is the 2nd through the 15th. Here is the little bit about the Clear Exchange Network. The big banks here, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, First Bank, Capital One, US Bank. Makes it really easy. If you have a bank account with one of these, we can just send it to your email address and you can just accept it. If you don't have one of these bigger accounts, we would just send a payment to your email address, and it takes a little bit more work. What you need to do then is tie in your checking account with that email address by putting in the routing number and that kind of thing. You'll be setting up a Chase profile. Then once they verify your account, you'll be good to go. You won't have to verify your account every time we pay you, but you'll be good to go. So that's how payments are made. I want to go ahead and play you some real live call examples of one of our inside sales agents. And these are her first 3 calls. So this is her being brand new. So let's play the first few calls.
Hello?
Hi, Alyssa.
Yes.
Alyssa, this is Carla. The reason I'm calling is because you were on our website a couple days ago looking at homes in the Grandview area. And I was wondering if are you only interested in that particular neighborhood, or would you be open to other properties nearby that are a really good deal as well?
I'm mostly interested in the Grandview and Upper Arlington area.
Excellent. Okay. The reason I ask, Alyssa, is at our office, we have a Home Buyer's Advantage program where if we know what features you're looking for, like the price range, the neighborhoods, other criteria is important to you, we can get you priority access to all the homes that match just what you're looking for with all the details, including interior and exterior photos. Would that be useful?
Yeah, that would be useful. I am, just looking right now. It would probably be my lease. I'm at Marble Cliff right now. Marble Cliff Commons, and my lease is up in January, so I would probably do like a 6-month lease. But I am interested in, I mean, I pretty much know what I want. I would be getting a condo, like some sort of condo, and I would like a garage.
Oh, great. So it sounds like you know exactly what you're looking
I
for.
kind of know,
And you're familiar with the area too, right? So that's what's really great about the smart home buying strategy is it's going to get you priority access to the homes that match what you're looking for. And then it's going to provide you with addresses, prices, like even things like the number of days on the market and all the property information with interior and exterior photos.
Right.
And even if even if you're looking 6 or 7 months down the road, you're smart to really look now. And then if a big bargain comes up, we could notify you. Would that be useful for you?
Yeah, that definitely would be.
Wonderful. What would be a good time for us to get together, like evenings or afternoons?
It definitely, probably evening. I'm not going to lie, this week and next week are extremely hectic for me. I know I definitely wouldn't be able to meet this week unless it was maybe like Saturday or Sunday. Well, I am helping my friend and her fiance move. They just bought a home on Wyandotte. So
okay.
I'm helping them move.
Great neighborhood. Okay.
But yeah, it really is. And
so basically she'll go on to schedule the appointment. That's typically how 10% of the calls will go. They're already familiar with what they've been doing and our site. Here's the next call.
Hello.
Hi, Cody.
Yeah.
Cody, this is Carla. The reason I'm calling is because you were on our website looking at homes in the downtown Columbus area, and I was wondering, if you were only interested in downtown Columbus, or would properties nearby that are of good value also interest you?
I was just looking at downtown Columbus.
Okay. Well, the reason why I asked is because at our office we have a Home Buyers Advantage program, where if we know what features you're looking for, like the price range, the particular area, number of bedrooms and square footage, that kind of thing, we can get you priority access to all of the homes that match what you're looking for, including details and interior and exterior photos. Is that something that would be helpful for you?
Not right now. Right now I was just scanning the area just to see what's available. But I don't have any interest in buying anytime soon.
Okay, what kind of time frame were you thinking about?
Probably a year.
Okay, well,
year and a half.
That's awesome. If we found a really good property in that type of time frame, would you want us to contact you and let you know?
Not right now.
No? Okay. Well, this is a free service, and there's never any obligation to buy or even look at a home. And we have been able to find homes that aren't on the market, and as a result, our clients have saved anywhere between $10,000 and $50,000 on these purchases.
Okay. So then, how does it work? Or
well, basically, we could meet with you, and then you tell us specifically all the criteria you're looking for. Like maybe you want so many square feet, or you want access to a gym or that type of thing. And then instead of you having to go through all the websites and all the real estate publications, we know exactly what you're looking for, and we just sort through it and forward it to you.
Okay.
Okay. So when would be a good time to get together? Evenings or days better for you?
It's usually whenever right now.
Okay. Would tomorrow be a good day?
Now this call, you can see she got a couple of objections, a couple no's, and that happens too. And that is why it's really important to memorize the script, because you want to be able to respond right away in a way that makes sense. I used to just tell our inside sales agents that this is kind of how the script goes, and this is kind of what we're trying to do. And as long as you understand the concepts, then you'll be okay. And after I heard those calls, of inside sales agents that didn't have the script memorized, they turned out to be disasters. The inside sales agents were stumbling all over their words. They didn't know how to respond, and they didn't know what to say. So when I required that the script be memorized, there was a huge difference in the amount of appointments that were booked and how smooth the calls went. So you can see how important it is to have that script memorized. Now this next call is an example of someone thinking you're a telemarketer and just trying to rush you off the phone. And I'm including this example because I don't want to mislead anyone. The calls aren't always rosy positive. Sometimes people do try to rush you off the phone. Sometimes they are negative, but I'll have more to say on that after you listen to the call.
Hello.
Hi, David.
Yes.
David, this is Carla. The reason I'm calling is because you were on our website looking at homes available in the Grandview, Ohio area, and I was wondering, are you still interested in that particular neighborhood, or are you open to other properties in that area?
I'm still kind of looking.
The reason I ask is at our office, we have a home buyer's advantage program where if we know what features you're looking for, like the price range, the neighborhood, other criteria important,
Okay.
we can give you access to all those homes and send them to you with all the details, including photos. Will that be useful?
No, I mean, I can kind of, research online.
Right, yes, you
of,
can.
Where I want to live. Yeah.
Okay, well, the properties that you'll have access to include all the hottest bargains like bank foreclosures, HUD homes, corporate-owned homes, government-owned homes, short sales, things like that. Would that be helpful for you?
No, not at this time. I'm still kind of just looking.
Okay. This is a free service that we offer, and there's never any obligation to buy or even look at a home.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Obviously, this guy doesn't want to talk. He thinks probably that you're a telemarketer. He just sort of rush you off the phone. And we do have ways of dealing with that. In the beginning, though, we have a specific linear script we go by to get you used to what we're trying to talk about. And then later on, we do get into more advanced methods of how to deal with stuff like this. Now, here's how I see it. We're paying $2,000 a month for this system to provide to potential home buyers for free. They get access to all the details, all the photos on every single house for sale currently on the market. And to be able to provide the information in such an incredible way does not come free. They're getting this information for free and we're paying for it. The very least that these potential buyers owe us are 5 minutes on the phone to see if we can help them or not. If someone hangs up on me, I will call them back and I'll say, you hung up on me. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Let me tell you about this. It'll only take 30 seconds. If you don't like it, then that's fine. But at least hear me out. And then they'll listen. Once you get past that initial resistance, it becomes a lot easier. But sometimes there is that initial resistance, and sometimes it can take a little bit more persistence. So there you have it. As you can see, it's not rocket science. We pay quite well. You can save yourself $300,000 in 11 years of your life and make more money in the meantime by setting buyer appointments. If you'd like to proceed, then all you have to do is email me at this address, tell me that you're interested, make sure that you have your contact information, and I will reply with the Dropbox link for you to start downloading the training materials. Feel free to call me or my assistant at 614-636-0890. You can also text that phone number for any questions that you may have. Whether you're interested in this position or not, good luck to you in whatever you pursue, and have a great day.